I had just started playing 7 Days to Die and was trying to do some very basic things, such as not die of thirst or continue limping on a broken leg. But every guide I could find assumed I already had this basic knowledge. Well, I didn't. I'm an idiot, and I needed a guide for idiots, so I made one for you guys too. Now, I don't know about you, but I have a low threshold for getting frustrated with a new game and just giving up if I can't fix a simple problem. So here's answers to some of the most basic things that just about made me quit this game before I realized how incredible it is once you learn the ropes. In 7 Days to Die, without a doubt, you will be building within the first few days. And unless you want your fort to fall apart like a 6th grade science project, you'll want to build it out of something sturdy. But don't build it out of cobblestone just right off the bat. There's a couple reasons for this. First, you'll get more XP if you build it out of basic shapes and then upgrade those to wood and then to cobblestone. The second reason is, if you're just starting off, all you're going to have to upgrade blocks with is likely a stone axe, and it takes about forever to remove a misplaced cobblestone block with a stone axe. So, always frame out your base first with wooden shapes and then upgrade. Speaking of building, land claim blocks. To keep this guide short, I'm only covering single player. So why would you want a land claim block in single player? Well, if you're claiming a POI, that's point of interest, i.e. any of the buildings in the game that have zombies in them basically, then you'll want to place a land claim block and your bedroll to make sure the zombies don't respawn inside your new base. Another reason to have this block in single player is, once placed within its area, you can pick up and move any of your workstations, campfire, etc. by holding E. Great for rearranging things in your base. You can have 3 land claim blocks active at a time, and to see the area that it affects, just look at it and press E to activate it. This toggles on or off a green wireframe in the world, which can be handy while you build to see your boundaries. And definitely don't forget the bedroll, because the only thing respawning in your base should be you. My biggest issue when starting 7 Days to Die was not finding any drinkable water or edible food. I spent so much time worrying about it that by the time I had gone out of my way to find more, I was getting hungry and thirsty again, or so it seemed. But before I get into this, know right off the bat that you will find it. Don't worry, and it's easier than it seems. First, be wary, and know that some things, such as being cold, will increase your hunger, and chems and pills will make you thirsty. So if you're having trouble finding water, watch using those painkillers. You will get a warning that you are hungry or thirsty when the bar is half empty. Don't worry, you have plenty of time. The most solid way to cure either of these will be finding a grill and a cooking pot. Technically just a cooking pot. Do your initial quest immediately, and that will lead you to a trader. Traders should sell cooking pots, but they cost about 500 dukes. Fear not, after only a couple of quests and selling loot, you can easily afford a cooking pot. You may even find one looting kitchens. Always remember to check on top of stoves and inside ovens. A cooking pot is needed for boiling water to drink, and can also be used for boiling meat if you don't have a grill. You can gather water with a bucket, but you can't do anything with it other than dump it back out, so don't bother making a bucket. Not yet anyway. Once you have a pot and or grill, open your campfire and place them here, and they will show up like this. Then you can select the ingredients in your inventory while using the campfire, select recipes, find the one you want, and make it. You may have seen that the trader offers a water filter, but it's very expensive. If you don't loot one, buy it when you can, and you can use that to build a dew collector. That's a bit more advanced, but rest assured, water will soon be a complete non-issue. Furthermore, should you happen to loot a water purifier mod, you can attach that to your helmet, which will allow you to drink murky water or water straight from a lake or stream without risk of getting sick. For food, even if you have trouble hunting animals for meat, you can always risk a sham sandwich, stockpile canned food, or use some of the ways I'll provide in tips number 4 and 8. From literally the moment you begin the game, you will see tree stumps and birds' nests on the ground. Yes, the birds of 7 Days to Die conveniently make their nests on the ground just to help you, the player. Looting birds' nests gives feathers and a chance for eggs. Eggs can be saved for cooking or eaten in a pinch if you're starving. Pick up some eggs early game and you will have food backup. You should have a stone axe. No, really, you should. Make one. Always tear down any tree stumps you see with your axe. There's a chance to find honey. This is very good early game, as if you happen to get an infection from an overly amorous zombie and don't have antibiotics, there's a chance that honey will cure it. Now, speaking of getting bit by zombies, if that's not your thing, you're going to want to heal up. You'll want to use the first aid bandages that you start with, but when you run out and make more, you may find that you can't use them. That's what happened to me. And then I realized there are 2 kinds of bandages. There are first aid bandages that have a red and white cross on them and stop bleeding, heal abrasions, and restore health. Regular bandages have the same icon but don't have their red and white cross and are of course just called bandages. They will only stop bleeding and not heal you. So be mindful whether you're crafting regular bandages or first aid bandages. Note that first aid bandages will also require aloe cream. to craft. Probably the most common injury early on that can trip you up, aside from becoming zombie chow, may come from quite literally tripping and breaking a leg, more specifically off a cliff while running away from a zombie. It happened to me early on too. Fear not, brave survivor. Here are the basics if you get a sprain or broken bone. A plaster cast can be made but requires skill and a crafting station, and this is the very basic beginner's guide, so we'll fix either ailment with a splint. Now firstly, if you break your leg, you'll notice the little debuff on the left side of your screen, and you'll notice that it flashes and gets angry every time you aggravate that leg, increasing the length of the debuff. Luckily, you can stabilize even a broken leg with just a splint, and it requires no skill to make. You can make a splint with some wood, cloth, and duct tape. Yet another good reason to always carry duct tape. Duct tape is good and used for a lot of things, and I'll cover that in tip number 9. So, you broke your leg and applied a splint, now what? It will change the debuff on the left side of the screen to say splinted leg or arm as the case may be. It will have a much shorter time to heal, and you should have normal mobility. But take it easy till the buff goes away, because this also can be aggravated by moving too vigorously and take more time. But still, always watch where you step, and remember to have a splint handy. Having resources to make stuff is really what it's all about, and so you should always keep an eye out for any materials you can use. Well, you're in luck, because everything in 7 Days to Die is made of stuff. Quite literally. Every block or object in the game will break into the most logical stuff that makes it up, i.e. break a trash can, get polymer. Wrench a doorknob, get brass. Dig through trash, get paper, etc. You can use any tool or weapon, technically, to break any object or block, but using the right ones for what you're breaking or taking apart will yield better results. For example, you should find a wrench early on. Hang on to it and put that on your toolbar. You'll want to try the wrench first for taking stuff apart. If the animation just whacks the object instead of wrenching it, then you're probably good to just use the axe. If you're able to wrench the object, you'll get more resources than just whacking it. But of course the axe will destroy some things faster. These things you'll learn by doing, but be aware, always have an axe, a wrench, and a shovel in the beginning. These are the simplest base tools. If it looks like dirt, or say a pallet of bags, use a shovel. If it looks mechanical in any way, even a chair, use a wrench. The axe works fine also on furniture, as well as anything wood or otherwise, really. Actually, there's one more base tool that you'll want on your belt, and that's a knife. Just starting off, you will most likely find a bone knife, and if not, they're easy to make. I'm told they're great to fight with, but even if that's not what you're doing, you'll find it indispensable in your early quest for food. Kill any animal, and then equip your bone knife and hack at its corpse to receive goodies such as meat and leather. You can use this tool and other remains you find to receive other resources as well, but early on this will be invaluable for food. Should you find a gun early on, mount a scope on it, and you can use that to take down deer, and your bone knife to harvest the meat, take home, and cook up on your fire. No longer hungry or thirsty. There is one more item you'll receive from butchering corpses, which could be even more important than meat at times, and that is bone. Why bone, you ask? Well, if you have a campfire and a cooking pot, with literally 0 skills, you can combine bones and water to make glue. Glue and cloth makes duct tape, the ever-prevalent binding material that holds the universe together. You will use duct tape in so many recipes, including the splint I mentioned earlier, so unlike Fallout, don't skimp on picking up bones. Now, as long as we're talking about duct tape, let's talk about what happens when your first tools start breaking. When your item breaks, you will no longer be able to use it until it's repaired. But for your starting tools, that's usually easy. By clicking on the item in your inventory, you'll see the option to repair it. If you click the little book icon at the top of the window, it should say what materials are needed to repair said item. An item as simple as your stone axe will only require 1 small stone to repair. So have no fear vigorously hammering away with it, because one little rock will fix it like new. Some items will require more to repair, however, items such as your wrench. You'll always want to have a working wrench, and to fix it, you'll need a repair kit. Early on, these won't be so common, as they are made from forged iron and duct tape. I keep a repair kit handy for fixing my wrench because early in the game, forged iron is scarce. Now that we know some of what we're looking for, we have food and water, and are moving around, we want to stay moving around. That is, we don't want to be slowed down by bulky armor. Have you just been equipping the best armor with the highest stats and noticed, or not noticed, that maybe you're moving slower? Heavier armor may decrease mobility. Make sure to take note of this if you didn't know by clicking on the armor and looking at its mobility rating in the stats box. You may find that you'd rather be fast than tough, and that you're actually being slowed down by your medieval fashion sense. However, armor you find can be good to sell, And if you're not keen on it taking up your inventory space, you can equip it to save from being encumbered on the way to the vendor. Just be mindful that if it's heavy, it may slow you down a tick. Also note that if your inventory is full, you can eat, drink, and read magazines from the loot window without actually picking the items up, saving both space and time. And if you just want more space to carry stuff, you don't need to spend perk points on Pack Mule. There is a handy way to unlock some of those grayed out spots in your inventory just by using some of the stuff that you pick up to craft pocket mods. You can craft clothing pocket mods or armor pocket mods for your clothing or armor, respectively. Just pull up the crafting window with tab and type pocket in the search window and you'll see the recipes. The clothing pocket mod is the most basic and easy to craft and will expand your available inventory by 1 slot each and can go on most, but not all, clothing. To make these, you'll just need leather, which you can get from butchering animals or wrenching couches, cloth, from just axing anything made of cloth, duct tape, and a sewing kit. Sewing kits are largely found in closets, and even in the first couple of days, you should find several of these. Now, with all of this in mind, if you're a pack rat like me, there is one loot item you'll come to love, and that's beer. Did I really need a separate tip to say that beer is good? Well, it's worth pointing out that unlike in some games, in 7 Days to Die, food and chem buffs can be substantial, and a stamina regen buff from beer can keep you running at full speed, even while fully encumbered. There are other items which help with this as well, such as coffee, but beer is good. I don't usually drink alcohol in games because I'm not a fan of the blurry screen, but in 7 Days to Die, I have learned to always bring beer. Now that is it for the 13 most basic things a beginner should know, and I'm making this while I'm still a beginner because literally 2 days ago, these were the questions I had but didn't know to ask. But there is one more thing for you guys. Like you, I was also watching 7 Days videos, and I was always seeing people with vehicles, but I didn't know how to get one. Especially with my base being not exactly right next door to the trader and me always seeming to be encumbered, I was dying for a way to get around faster. Come to find out, I was worrying too much and not playing enough. Once you finish the tier 1 quests from the trader, that is, once you've done like 6 or 7 quests maybe, they'll reward you with a choice of nifty things, and among those, a bicycle. I was so psyched to get this, you have no idea. All you have to do is just bust out a few fetch quests. If you're careful, very little, if any zombie killing is even required at all. That's it for today, good folks of the apocalypse. I hope you found these tips helpful and encourage you to comment down below and tell me what you think. If you like the content that I have here, consider subscribing for more. I'd really appreciate it more than I can say, except for one more thing. Always remember rule number 2 of the zombie apocalypse, the double tap. Because unlike your prom date, one undone ain't enough.